Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hi, this is Anna and welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. In this episode, I interview Stephanie Blake. Stephanie is a business strategist and scaling expert who helps women start their service-based businesses and scale them to reach 6+ figures while keeping them in the CEO seat and working less than 20 hours a week. Over the past 5 years, she's helped hundreds of women start and scale their own businesses to reach their unique freedom goals. She's also a tech nerd, systems strategist, wife, mum and Chipotle addict. Her favourite place to hang out is Instagram. I'm really excited to be interviewing Stephanie and you're going to love this episode. So hi Stephanie, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. I love how, we were just saying actually before we click record, I love how we can connect to people all over the world by doing things like podcasts, because I know you've got a similar podcast that we'll talk about, and it's just great. It just feels like you're meeting people in a coffee shop or a wine bar and we're chatting away. And I know you've got some really cool stuff to share with you being a business coach, another badass lady. And you're helping, I think, mainly women, are you, in your programs and coaching? So how did it all begin? What's your journey been like?
So I'll give you the condensed version. So I went to, I'll be 33 next month, actually, at the time of recording this. So I went to college, so it's been a while now. And I initially was planning to follow like the quote unquote normal track, the traditional track, go to school, get a job, and stay there until you're 60 years old and retire. That's what my mom did. I was following in her footsteps. So I went to college, got a degree in graphic design. I actually, during that time, I was in an abusive relationship, which we can also dive into. I was in that relationship for 5 years. So I ended up actually graduating college in 3 years instead of the traditional 4, because my friends like to say that I was locked in a cage. I wasn't able to do anything other than schoolwork. So it actually kind of worked out for the best because I graduated in 3 years with honors, and not many people can say that.
Brilliant. Well done.
Yeah. So I did that, and then went the traditional route, worked in the corporate world for about 10 years. But at one point, I was working at a digital marketing agency, and we did a boatload of different things: digital marketing, public relations. I started out there as a graphic designer, eventually worked my way up to the director level. But while I was in that company, we were working with franchise businesses. So I was working with all of these franchisors and then the franchisees as well, who were kind of like their own business owners. And I was like, oh, if these people can do this, why can't I do this?
Yeah.
So at this point, I was about 27 years old, something like that, if I'm doing the math correctly. I had just married my husband. We just got married. I was like, hey, I'm going to start a business. He's like, start a business doing what? So I did a lot of different things over like the first year and a half. I had a wedding planning business because I had just got married. So I was like, oh, I know how to plan a wedding. I can be a wedding planner. It's not how it works. So I did that. I had an Etsy shop because, like I said, my background is in graphic design. So I made custom prints on Etsy.
I was going to say, was it the wedding? Because I know there's a lot of shops on weddings as well, isn't there, on Etsy? I did.
So I did some like wedding invitations. I did just a lot of like random graphic design work. Yeah. I did that for a couple of years. And then I had also found like the online business space during that time too. So I was about like 28-ish when I discovered the online world, quote unquote. And that's when I found virtual assistants. So I started a virtual assistant business while I was running that Etsy shop and while I was at my 9-to-5 job. So I was doing all three of those things, not really seeing my husband. my brand new husband much, which wasn't great. Um, and eventually I turned that virtual assistant business into an agency. And then, so I did that for about 3 years. And then 3 years after that, I was like, I am really feeling called to coaching. Like, I want to help people have successes like I've had, because not many people had this kind of success that I did as a service provider. Like, I was making multiple six figures as a service provider, and not many people could say that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I really want to do this. But, imposter syndrome kicks in. It's like, you're not good enough. You can't teach these people how to do these things. So I thought that for a while, but then I was eventually like, you know what? I'm going for it. So then about 3 years ago is when I went full-time coaching. I also had my son that year and left my 9-to-5 job.
Wow.
It was a lot of life changes happening at one time. And now I am here helping other service providers scale their businesses.
But it just shows that, like, like when people say, oh, I haven't got the time, or you actually can find the time if you've got that drive and passion. That's what I was saying. Because a few people say to me, oh, I don't know how you fit it all in. But I mean, I've got quite a lot of VAs now that I think you learn, don't you? Once you've been doing the do, you start working out the things that you enjoy, or the things that you're good at, or that you can do quite quickly, or you just resonate more with. And then you think, well, actually, those are the bits that I've spent hours on and I actually hate. So I'll outsource that part, or I'm not great at, or, and you start like I was looking at your website, being like the CEO of your business, because I know you have, which we can come to in a short while, where you've got loads of different programs where it doesn't really matter what level you're at, does it? Because you can get involved with, you've got different levels of, you even offer quite a bit around your free group, I think. From what I could see anyway, but you can tell us all about that. And I just think it's all a journey, isn't it? You learn by your mistakes. And like you say, imposter syndrome or fear gets in the way. And that's what I've kind of learned from my personal journey, that, the domestic abuse and stuff, that when you've had fear, and I know you were saying that you were in an abusive relationship, when you have that fear, then it does actually help you with other things, how to tackle other things in your life. Because a lot of women, especially, sit on the fence, don't they? And I've done it myself. Like this podcast, I was thinking about the podcast like 3 years before it was launched. Like, oh, I really want to do it. Oh yeah, how do you do it? Oh, what do I need? And oh, I can't do it. And what am I going to talk? All these things that go on in your mind. And then it's just like, you have to move into that. I've got to feel uncomfortable. That's growth, isn't it? We have to move into that. Just do it. Just get it done, and look at things as a process and have systems to make it happen.
Yeah, I like to say that growth comes when you're comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's a very hard place to get to. I will say that. But I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I used to work 80-hour weeks. Like that was normal for me. When I was like I said, when I was at my 9-to-5 job, that alone was about 60 hours, because it was more like a 7-to-7 job.
Yeah.
Well, it's in a 9-to-5. And then nights and weekends was when I would work on my business stuff. So
for people, for people that are listening to this, because the biggest thing with me with this podcast is that sometimes people are stuck, whether that be, in some, it's been a difficult few years for a lot of people. And it kind of, I suppose it kind of has for me. The world's been uncertain. The thing that's affected me is I love to travel, I love to go away with my boys and have things to look forward to. I feel like I've put on loads of weight. I don't know why. I think I've just been doing more work because I've not had the travel. And I'm like, that's my excuse anyway. I'm on a big health kick at the moment where I'm walking every day and eating properly. But I think there's been a lot of people I've actually sat back and felt really grateful over the pandemic and thought, I'm really glad that when I was made redundant in 2012, that I made changes and I started to build an online business. I got out of the relationship I was in, and all these things have been going through my mind because I've seen friends or heard other people online that have lost their jobs, or their relationships have, the first lockdown, relationships were tested, weren't they? Or new babies were born, and all these different changes of things that have happened in the world. It's been really uncertain for people. And I think a lot of people have started thinking about creating an online business. So for people, that was a really long waffle, by the way, of my intro to ask you that question. But for people who are listening thinking, yeah, I really want to do something different, but I'm not good enough, or what can I do? And, because we've both been through that way, that procrastination, the imposter syndrome, the worry, the fear. What would you advise them? What is sort of the first step from your journey would you advise them to do?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I mean, to be completely honest, my life didn't change much during the pandemic. I mean, we did have a couple of friends or a couple of family members pass, but like my actual day-to-day life did not change much because I set it up in the way that I wanted to. So by the time that hit, I was already working from home. I was already taking care of my son. Not much really changed in my actual day-to-day. My husband actually works in a hospital, so that was pretty scary to have to deal with that and kind of wonder what was happening. But in terms of like if somebody's in that spot right now and they want to start that online business, I would say my biggest piece of advice is, this is going to be really difficult, but try not to overthink it. Like the easiest way that you can get started is by using skills that you already have. Like that's what I did when I started my business. So I had that background in graphic design. So I started an Etsy shop. I started designing prints. I already had those skills. I didn't have to go out and learn anything. And I was making somewhat decent money on the side doing that. And yeah, so I mean, look at the skills that you're using maybe in your job right now, if you have a job, or skills that you have used in the past, or even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you have so many skills that people aren't talking about. Like raising a human is very difficult.
Yeah,
it's incredibly difficult. I'm sure that you're incredibly organized. I'm sure that you have all of your meals. Well, even if you don't have all your meals planned out for the week, you know that something is going to get in your family's body at some point, right? So you can utilize these skills that you currently have in some way or another in a business. Now, what that business actually looks like, that varies. There's so many different options now. Like you can have any type of business you want online these days, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's really good, because I think, we forget the skills that we already know, or the knowledge that we already have. And the knowledge and the skills that you already have is the best place to start, isn't it?
And it's usually what people take for granted. So
yeah, it's when you talk to someone that doesn't know that topic that you realize what you do know. Because I've said that to some of my like Amazon and Etsy students, that they could help other businesses, like some of them that are launching products, because I'm getting inundated at the moment on LinkedIn with businesses that need help with like Amazon or just e-commerce, but you're learning these skills along the journey. And actually, if you're wanting more income, or because everyone wants success now, don't they? Like we're really impatient. It's like, we need it now. And of course, if you've got a physical product business, you're going to be investing into stock. I mean, there are other ways, there's drop shipping and all that kind of stuff, but if you invest, so there's other ways that you can. I did that at the beginning on my online journey. I did things that maybe I didn't really want to do, but it was like my skill set. I remember helping people with Facebook ads and offline businesses and things like that we can create services.
Yeah, I actually did drop shipping too. That was one of the things that I dabbled in the beginning, which is also it's very easy. It's much easier than you would think to get started with that.
And it's changed. Like now, the world with print on demand. You don't always have to have investment for stock these days on e-commerce, but you're learning stuff on the way. Like you're learning how to do listings on Etsy. That's valuable to someone who doesn't know it. Like you're saying, your skill set, or if you're a teacher, what are you teaching? You could actually pack, I've been saying to my sister, who's a language teacher, she does tutoring, she could easily create an online business around her knowledge. It's just being comfortable, like you say, to move into the uncomfortable.
Right. There's actually a lot of teachers in my community who have since moved to online tutoring and online education since the pandemic started. So they have completely created their own businesses because of that. But yeah, I can say today, like I said, I've been doing this for about 6 years at this point, and everything that I know now, I have taught myself how to do. Like I wasn't taught this, and definitely not in college or any formal schooling system. I literally taught myself everything, whether that was from like just hopping on Google and Googling something, or watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Or have also made a lot of investments in different like courses, coaches, mentors who have helped to speed that process up too, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. So
you've got to be
whenever
resourceful. Yeah. Like you say, you've got to be resourceful. And if you, at the beginning of your journey, if funds are tight, you're just going to be able to put more time in. Like you say, getting a coach is going to speed that process up. Sometimes people haven't got, say $1,000, $2,000 for a coach, but they may be able to get in a different level of the program, which leads me on to tell us all about all the cool stuff you're doing, because it looks amazing on your site, all the different services that you offer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm excited to share. So, I mean, I fully believe in meeting people where they're at in their journey right now. So I am not the type of person, and I know there are a lot of people out there that do that, but who will encourage somebody to invest in a program or coaching opportunity when they're not ready for it. I am not that person. I have created different offers for different levels of your business journey. So if you haven't even started yet, or maybe you started like yesterday, I have a program for that. It's called the Scalable Service System, and it shows you how to reach consistent 3K months in your business. Or if you're at the point where you are ready to scale your business, so you've been running your business for a while, you are ready to start adding team members on, you're ready to reach the multiple 6 and even 7-figure level. That's what my program 6-figure service is for. That's where we really start to look at your business like an actual business, and we set it up to be scalable for long-term growth. So those are my 2 main programs. And then I also have, I almost forgot about this, a lower level membership, which gives you a training every single week that helps you scale your business. So if you're not maybe ready for the 6-figure service program, that's what we have that membership for. And then I also have a free community too. So like literally every level is covered off on.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And tell us about your podcast as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. How did I forget about that? So, yes, my podcast is called Behind Their Business, and it's focused on all of the stuff happening behind the scenes in a business that people don't want to talk about. So we've had so many different people coming on sharing stories about running a business when they've had miscarriages, or people who have gone through cancer treatments while they were running their business, and even like dealing with imposter syndrome. So we're talking about different topics that people are kind of afraid to talk about or don't necessarily want to talk about. We are talking about all of them on this podcast. And I think it just helps people feel less alone, like know that other people are going through these things too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that's the thing, when you are going through something, social media doesn't help, does it? You see,
it's the worst thing you could do is go on social media.
You see all these families at Christmas time with all the matching pajamas.
Yeah, that's not my family.
And you just feel that you're the only one going through it. But actually, everybody's got some kind of adversity or something that they've gone through, because that's what makes us human at the end of the day. What has been the hardest thing on your journey with that you've got through? Because I know, like you say, you probably it's similar to me with COVID, that everything, I felt really grateful because everything didn't really affect me. It was just, I kind of like to go on several different holidays. I go to China quite a bit. I've not been since 2019. So things like that was just a bit of a shame, but really that's the luxury, isn't it? It wasn't there was nothing imminent that was affecting my day to day, apart from having 2 children that I was trying to homeschool. But I felt quite lucky, But what's been the biggest challenge that you've faced on your journey?
That's a really good question. Nobody's ever asked me that. So I was thinking about it really quickly. No, I'm glad that you did ask, because it allows me to kind of think about that a little bit more. But I would say for me, it has been working through imposter syndrome and actually showing up as my truest and most confident self. That has been, and it's been incredibly difficult, but I didn't realize that it was difficult for me. It was from the result of trauma that I had in my childhood. And then also the abusive relationship that I was in. I was carrying all of these feelings of not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy of having the things that I wanted. So for a long time, I had just been working, implementing every strategy in the book, working the 80-hour weeks, and wondering why I'm not seeing the results that I wanted to see yet. And then once I started to like work through where all of that trauma was coming from, like actually get it out of my physical body, heal that trauma. I would say that was when I really started to see success in my business. So for the first couple of years, it was definitely imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough. So
yeah, no,
if you have thought this at any point, you are not alone.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to share it, because I think sometimes when I know at the beginning of my journey, I used to look at people and sort of see them as different. Oh, it's okay for them, sort of thing. And I don't know how I can get there. And I think by showing that we're human and we all have the same challenges, I think it's being a visionary, isn't it? Or kind of like having that goal and being prepared to make mistakes along the way. But just thinking,
you will make a lot of mistakes.
I will keep, I will keep getting to where I need to get to.
Yeah. I used to compare myself to everybody. I would look at people who I like started with at the same time, and they had already reached the level that I wanted to reach years prior to that. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing? Like, I was just blaming myself. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why are they reaching their results more quickly than I am? Like, what's wrong with me? That's what I would keep coming back to over and over again, because for so many years I had multiple people saying that there was something wrong with me. Right. So you learn a lot about yourself as an entrepreneur as well. A lot of uncomfortable truths that you may not learn otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I just kudos to you for sharing that, because I think it, when we're vulnerable and do share the challenges that we've had, also it helps us live in our own truth, doesn't it? But also it really does help other people to maybe think, well, I'm sure there'll be people thinking, well, actually she's felt like that and she's been able to do this, then there's hope that I can do the same. And I think anybody can. Anybody can. I think there isn't any difference between people that have got success and haven't. It's just that they've taken that action. And like you say, they've either gone through stuff that they've had to work through. And the biggest thing for me in my business was just getting systems and processes in place. For ages, I just kept fanning around with all these different ideas and I was taking action, but it was like stop, start. I didn't have these systems and processes. That just really, really helped me with my business. But there was also
I love systems.
Yeah, I do now. It's like the game changer, really.
It really is.
So it's great to have you on the show, because there's lots of synergy with everything you're saying. I'm like, yeah. And I just think it really helps people hearing your whole journey and what you've done and the challenges and the success. Is there anything you want to share to kind of maybe the one big thing that's helped you be successful? Obviously it was going through the imposter syndrome, but any kind of one last tip?
Yeah, that's great. So I would say definitely doing a lot of mindset, inner work, healing past trauma. That was a huge thing, but also investing in the right people has made a big difference too, because like I said, I've made a lot of investments in my business, not as great as I would have hoped, and then others that were truly transformational. So I would say find people who you truly connect with and who can get results with the thing that you want to achieve results with.
Nice.
Yeah. And just go all in, because if they have proven that they can get results for other people, if you feel that like that synergetic connection from them, they will help you get the results in your business too. A lot of the times it's just kind of scary to make bigger investments. But again, like, you're an entrepreneur. You have to put that CEO hat on.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really good advice, because I think sometimes on the online world, there's so many different coaches as well. And like you say that.
I have some thoughts about that. I don't know if you want me to say it.
There's a lot, isn't there? And
there are a lot, and unfortunately not all are qualified to teach what they teach or how they teach it. A lot of people just kind of call themselves a coach without going through the process of learning the things that they need to actually coach on.
Exactly. Where they're just literally repeating education they've seen online.
Yes, that happens a lot.
There's a lot in the Amazon and Etsy world like that haven't actually got Amazon and Etsy businesses themselves.
Yes, that happens all the time. So just have a conversation with the person that you're investing in is my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah.
Make sure, know who this person is inside and out. And just, if you feel a good vibe from them, I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Yeah. So I always ask everybody, what does freedom mean to you? And on the birthday episode, we're coming up to the second birthday soon in July. We on the first birthday, what we did was we edited quite a few episodes and put these answers back to back. It was really cool listening to everybody's answer because there's no right or wrong, freedom is kind of like a personal take, really. So what does freedom mean to you, Stephanie?
Yeah, I love this question. So to me, freedom means freedom of money and time. So freedom to, in terms of time, work when I want to, work with the people that I want to, impact the lives that I want to in whichever way I choose to do that. So it's not following a schedule. It's not waking up at a certain time. It's just doing whatever feels good in my body at that time and just kind of following that. And then in terms of money is just having so much money that I couldn't possibly spend it all and knowing that I'm always supported in everything I do. It's paying the bills at the first of the month for the entire month in full, not having to worry about if I want to go travel, I can just book a flight off the cuff, like that's true freedom to me, not answering to anyone.
Love it. Well, it's been great having you on the show. For anyone that's listening that feels that sort of, like you say, the synergy connection, go and check out Stephanie's website, which is, you'll remind me.
Yeah, theblakecollective.com.
So we'll put Stephanie's links in the comment section, depending on what you're watching us on or listening to us on. So it'll be in the iTunes in the comment section or in the YouTube in the comment section. I'm trying to think. It's not called the comment section on iTunes, and I had a block, but
show notes.
That's the word. I knew I was saying it wrong. So yeah, we'll put all Stephanie's details in there, and you can reach out to her. Join her free group. It looked like there was so much value in the free group. Get a taste of it, or reach out and connect with Stephanie. Do you hang out on a particular social media?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty split between Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm on both places.
Yeah, cool. So if you're an Insta girl, go and connect with her on Insta. And if you're on Facebook, connect with her on Facebook.
And all of those are linked on my website too.
Brilliant. Well, it's been great to have you on the show. Really good to connect with you. If I can help you in any way, I would love to. And let's stay in touch. It's been great.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks, Stephanie. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and subscribe on my YouTube channel. And if you want to get more freedom in your life, then come and join Your Freedom Project Facebook group, which the link is below in the comments section. And I am giving you a copy of my visualization manifesting book. So manifest more freedom in your life and live the life of your dreams.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.